DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. We're going to have a great show. Dr. Deana Hardee is with us, and we're going to talk about processing procedures, different types of things that you're going to do when you're working your cattle. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned.
Bovolus Nasalgen 3 offers young calves unrivaled protection against devastating respiratory diseases, including IBR, PI3, and BRSV. And it has a unique blue shadow, so there's no second guessing which animals have been vaccinated. To up your protection, choose Bovolus Nasalgen 3 PMH, the first and only intranasal that protects against viral and bacterial pneumonia. Talk to your veterinarian and visit nasalgen.com to learn more.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson, and I'm here with Dr. Deana Hardee. And Dr. Hardee is a veterinarian. She resides in West Texas. She is a technical services veterinarian for Merck Animal Health. She is an up-and-comer and somebody that has a wealth of information that I see on a day-to-day basis, helping us as veterinarians, helping feedlots, helping ranches and producers, just thankful you're very busy, and we're glad to get some time from out being in the field.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Dr. Thompson. Excited to visit with you today and see what we can explore about processing calves.
Oh, it'll be great. It'll be great. So when we start talking about processing, the one thing we were talking about is I get there and someone walks in and goes, hey, I'm going to come to the clinic, and they say, hey, I'm going to work cattle tomorrow. What do I need to give them? And now here we are, both caught flat-footed, haven't planned, haven't thought about the herd, and we're just going to fill a box and go do it.
Yes, so often that seems to happen. And I don't know, my biggest takeaway with processing calf is, yes, it's an event that might only happen once or twice a year for a cow-calf producer, or every day at the feed yard level, but there really should be a little bit more strategy and planning that goes into that. I spend a lot of time talking about our animal health products, whether it's a vaccine, antiparasiticide, antibiotic, etc. But really, animal health is just one small part of your whole herd health plan. And that certainly, as a veterinarian in practice, I really enjoy the opportunity to visit with clients and have that conversation about strategy and processing and what that might entail. It shouldn't be a game time decision, right?
Right.
We spend a lot of time and energy and money on it, so why not put that effort into it up front with a little bit more planning? So,
well, and you hit some key points, because it's not just planning of what products, it's planning of how you're going to get them. And that's what this whole show's about, right? Is planning your procedures, planning your administration, planning your, all these different things lead to a successful, healthy animal.
exactly. And I always like to say doing the right thing might not always be the most convenient, but certainly we should always try to do what's right for the animal, not what's convenient for us.
Right.
And so when it comes to planning, I think we can start with just the timing and strategy. Certainly I like to see like a branding age calf, 3 to 4 months old, to get a vaccine, but that shouldn't be the day that, oh, it's raining outside and I can't do X, Y, Z. Let's go vaccinate some calves, or let's not pick the hottest day of the year. So we kind of have to be a little bit flexible. And that the same goes if you're doing pre-weaning or weaning vaccines, right? Let's keep that in mind, that there's a lot of things that go into making that vaccine successful, and some environmental things we can control and some we can't. But I always like to give that animal the best chance. And so again, making it convenient for you might not always be the answer.
Right. And then the planning process, that herd health program with your veterinarian, we should just be picking up the box that we decided a month or two ago, not filling a box the day before and making those decisions.
Right. I mean, you always continually evaluate and reassess where we were previously. It's really easy to become complacent and do the same thing over and over. But expand and ask your veterinarian if there are other options you can consider, or different technologies you might want to try. Certainly the day before is often hard to make a change. So
Yeah.
really building that relationship and exploring your different strategies when it comes to processing day is very important.
Well, you provide and learn so much CE, and I do too as a veterinarian.
Exactly.
We're constantly learning new techniques that we can relay to you in your programs, whether it's nematode resistance or whether it's vaccines or new different pathogens that we can cover. That working with that local veterinarian is key.
Without a doubt.
Great. Well, folks, it's great to have Deana Hardee here, Dr. Deana Hardee, and we're going to talk more about processing, planning, and prevention. You're watching DocTalk, and we're glad you joined us.
Stressors that trigger bovine respiratory disease are all around. So when you spot BRD in your herd, turn to Zuprevo, the fast that lasts. Zuprevo is rapidly absorbed in as little as 45 minutes and lasts up to 28 days. Because in the race against BRD, you need to win. Ready, set, Zuprevo. In case of human injection, seek immediate medical advice. For use in beef and non-lactating dairy cattle only. For prescribing information, talk to your veterinarian or visit Zuprevo.com.
DNA Dialogue is brought to you by Igenity Beef, powered by Neogen.
When it comes to genomic technology and genomic testing for the commercial cow-calf operation, one of the biggest questions I get is why invest in the technology? And I think a lot of times the benefit of genomic testing is really the ability to peel back the calf's hide and really better understand the genetic merit of the replacement heifers that you're selecting. Because if we think about the biggest investment that a commercial cattleman makes, especially if he raises his own replacements, is to raise that heifer from birth to the age of 16, 18 months at preg check time to realize that she didn't get pregnant. And so one of my favorite conversations to have is really, let's talk about genetic variability. Because if we think about the monetary investment we make in a bull, right? You as a commercial cow-calf guy, you go to a bull sale and you do a lot of research. You phenotypically look at that bull, make sure he matches what you like, make sure his conformation is sound, and we hope that you look at the EPDs that come in the bull sale catalog. But what some people don't understand or even think about is that in that full sibling mating, there's over 1 quintillion possible combinations of DNA in a single calf that bull can make. And so that is what genomics brings to the table. We're able to look at the DNA that passed down from that bull into that heifer so that the commercial cattleman can select the females that are inheriting the genetics that he paid for.
We know how expensive it is to keep and maintain heifers. What is also the fallout of those heifers if they're not the correct ones you're keeping and maintaining. We want to do as much as we can to get it right before we spend the money to impact our herd further down that road and keep successive females out of the wrong type of females.
Igenity Beef. Contact your Neogen territory manager to test today.
When the ones who have your heart need your help, count on us for everything they deserve, delivered fast. We'll work hard for you so you can work hard for your dreams.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Deana Hardee, and we are talking about processing procedures and things to that nature and planning. And now we're going to get into more product storage, product handling, product administration. And Dr. Hardee is a veterinarian, West Texas area, and a technical services veterinarian from Merck Animal Health. And she's very, very busy in her field work and working with feed yards and ranches and stockers and that. And to get her to sit still and be on the show is just a treat. So thank you.
Well, no, thanks for having me. But yeah, just jumping right in. I love to share with my clients about vaccine handling.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time, energy, and money talking about animal health products. But so often when I get shoot side, I'm appalled with some of our handling techniques. And it's things that I never even thought about until being on this side of the table.
Yeah.
So certainly, I don't want to downplay the importance of proper vaccine. Is kind of what I'm more focused on today, but really all of your animal health products. My favorites, I show up to even some yards and often of the cow-calf operations or stock operations, and everybody has that retired refrigerator, right? The one that leaks
Yeah.
a little bit in the
Yep,
house ends
exactly.
up becoming the vaccine fridge. And by all means, if you're going to use that, great. But man, I order on Amazon these, I mean, they're like $50, little thermometers that I actually have an app on my phone that tells me the internal temperature of the refrigerator at the ranch. So I encourage folks, if you've got that refrigerator, and you know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
to do something like that, just so we know we can keep those vaccines at the appropriate temperature.
Yeah, and I even got so crazy about it. I would stop our route trucks that were driving around West Texas when I practiced down there to stop and see what the temperature
Sure.
was while they're driving up and down the road. I know they thought I was crazy. I didn't have a siren to stop them, but I'd wave them down and
Yeah.
just double check and see what was going on.
Well, valid point, because we do have to think about the product handling from the point of pickup, whether that's your vet clinic or your rep there, to the farm. That's equally as important. Definitely don't like to see UPS packages sitting out with the big temperature labels, and we
Exactly.
question how long that's been there. But I think vaccine handling is very important in terms of just temperature control. But the other part of it, and again, I can't take credit for this, but an adage that someone shared with me, and I like it a lot, is to treat your vaccine like you would your beer, right? I don't leave the beer in the car when I run into the grocery store knowing it's going to get lukewarm before you get home, right?
Exactly.
I usually only open one at a time,
Yep.
right? I don't aggressively shake before opening. So really keeping that in mind. It sounds pretty simple, but certainly a lot of things that I see folks doing, and a lot of things unintentionally, was actually helping a ranch this last fall at weaning, and it was a little bit warm out. Admittedly, I wish we probably weren't vaccinating that day, but doing a great job of having a syringe that they were trying to put back and forth in the cooler, but they're actually laying it on a hot black tailgate. And by the end of the day, that syringe was warm to the touch,
Oh
right?
boy.
So just thinking through some of those little things, and really the details do matter when it comes to processing
I
cattle.
love the analogy of treating it like your beer. I hadn't thought about the only opening one at a time,
Mhm.
and keeping it out of the sunlight, keeping it cool.
I don't know about you, but I don't put my beer on the dashboard either.
No. That's for sure. So, and I think that what you're leading up to is there's a difference between vaccinating and immunizing.
Without a doubt. I often use that a lot. We can give a vaccine, but our goal really is to protect that animal from potential challenges in the future. And I'm going to argue with you, if you're giving a vaccine that hasn't been properly handled, we might have just given vaccines but not actually immunized that animal.
It's perfect. Great analogies, great information. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more with Dr. Hardee after these messages.
Success in the cattle business hinges on a lot of different people playing their part. From the vet to the cowboy and the nutritionist to the feed truck driver, you rely on them to get their job done right, and so do your cattle. Your expectations for the vaccines you use should be no different. Bimeta's cattle vaccines were developed and are made and sold by men and women in the cattle business. No smoke and mirrors, just real-world protection that you can rely on. Go to bimetabiologicals.com to learn more.
One of the most core principles in the beef business is reducing risk. We have eliminated and reduced the risk of animals not performing up to our expectations through the use of EPDs, through the use of genomic testing. I've gravitated toward the Angus GS, using it. You've got all the right people in the room when you've got Neogen and AGI working together. That's what puts my confidence in the Angus GS test. Cattle producers have always been sustainable. We have no choice but to be sustainable. But however, this is another tool to identify the most efficient animals, which take less inputs, less resources, and produce more beef with less inputs, less resources than ever before. And I think the evolution of genomic testing is vital to the cattle business.
Angus GS, powered by Neogen, is the highest industry standard in genomic testing for your whole herd. Contact the American Angus Association or your Neogen territory manager to test today.
When a new calf hits the ground, the clock starts ticking. A belly full of colostrum gives them their best chance, but if they don't get any, time starts running out. That's when you grab a bag of Oxford Ag Colostrum in their patented feeding system. It's simple. You fill it with warm water, shake it to mix, feed it with a tube or a nipple, and you are done. No bucket, no bottle, no mess, and right on time. Ask for it by name wherever animal health supplies are sold.
Come on!
Angus GS powered by Neogen is the highest industry standard in genomic testing for your whole herd. Contact the American Angus Association to test today.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Deana Hardee. Dr. Hardee is a veterinarian in West Texas and wealth of information. Tremendous opportunity for us as veterinarians as we learn things that Dr. Hardee brings to us in the field, and also with her clients and different producers out there in West Texas and eastern New Mexico and beyond. But as we talk about processing, and we talk about one of the first things I get asked is, well, what needle should I use?
No, great question. I always say refer to your BQA guidelines, and here's a shameless plug. All beef cattle producers should be BQA certified. Very easy process, and provides a ton of information for you. But for me, I like to keep just a couple of needles around. It keeps it a little simpler. Certainly want to throw out there the same needle that you're using for an 8-9 weight steer is probably not the same one you want to pick up when you're processing a baby calf at branding, for example. Right. So a lot of times I'm typically using a 16 or an 18 gauge needle. When I'm giving sub-Q injections, I like a 5/8 inch needle or 3/4, kind of personal preference there. And then obviously for the few products that you need to give intramuscularly, you're going to want a longer needle, inch and a half, depending on the product. So that kind of brings up another point, though, is many of our vaccines in particular will be labeled for sub-Q or intramuscular administration. And I always tell folks, if given the choice, pick that sub-Q vaccine. Right. I don't know about you, but I don't like getting intramuscular shots. No. So the product's efficacious either way. So I do think that sub-Q vaccine, it's definitely the better choice there.
And if you look at some of the older BQA data, even in intramuscular vaccinations at branding will result in injection site lesions in the muscle at slaughter. Yes. I mean, they never go away. And so that's just less tissue, less edible tissue, waste of natural resources.
Exactly. We're in the beef business and certainly don't want to contaminate that product.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So then once we pick the needle, obviously the one thing that it seems like I have to remind myself, but change that needle, right?
Oh, without a doubt. So I think recommendations are every 10 head. Realizing we have a lot of syringes now, our automated syringes that are 25 dose. So if you're using a 2cc product, it would be about every 12 head. Obviously, if you bend that needle, if you get a burr on it, if you're like me, have a little bit clumsy, drop it in the ground, let's change that needle to prevent future, whether it's abscesses or contamination. We're allowing that vaccine to work properly.
Yep. And you made a good point. We want to keep a clean needle, right?
Yes. So anytime you're going back into a bottle. So that's why I say when you're going to refill that syringe, put a clean needle on. Certainly don't want to contaminate our animal health product, whether it's a vaccine, an antibiotic, or whatever it may be, with a dirty needle.
So we got the right needle, we've got a clean needle. Now, where are we going to do the injection?
Well, there's only one choice.
That's right.
The injection site triangle. So that triangle is going to be in front of the shoulder, below the nuchal ligament, and then above that vertebral column. So there really is a nice triangle anatomically that you can see, and that is the only place to be giving an injection.
Yep, and we get into some of the questions about, well, especially with some of the repro products, that we need to put it in the hindquarter versus the neck because it's closer to where, and that's just bunk.
I am very passionate about that. Just because the ovaries are back there doesn't mean the lymph nodes can't carry it there. And there's absolutely no reason to ever give an injection in the back end of an animal.
It's a great point. A lot of fun. And things that we know we should be doing that just reiterate. But thanks for that information. I think that clarifies a lot. And when we come back, we'll do a wrap up with Dr. Hardee. You're watching DocTalk, and we're very glad you joined us.
When it comes to treating BRD, you want a product that you can count on to get the job done at an affordable price. Macrocin by Bimeda delivers on both. A straight-shooting, no BS tulathromycin that does what it's supposed to do. End of story. You don't need to take our word for it, though. Go to macrocin.com for customer testimonials and head-to-head trial results. For your cattle and your bottom line, choose Macrocin.
The cost of an open cow these days is very expensive. It's hard at times to dedicate a half a day or a whole day to leave your practice to go palpate cows. And so Alertis Test has helped speed the process up of getting preg rates back to the owners. And so free up time for diagnostics or working in your clinic. It also will help generate revenue, not being on site to do the testing.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
It's the crews, cattle, and accolades that keep you striving for the best that's ever been. It's more than a banner or a great calf crop. It's everything you deserve. And for that, we're here with all you need. valleyvet.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Deana Hardee, talking about processing, talking about vaccination and immunizing specifically. And Dr. Hardee is a veterinarian in West Texas. She's a tech service veterinarian for Merck Animal Health and has a platform to help a lot of us from production and veterinary medicine. So very thankful for all that you're doing for us.
No, thanks for having me again.
You bet. So we have talked about planning the procedures and the products. We've talked about how we handle the products, and then we talked about administration, and now we're done processing. Okay, so now what do? We don't just chuck it behind the syringe behind the seat and wait till next year.
We sure hope not. So do think through where you're going to store whether it's a reusable syringe, also properly disposing those needles. You know, kind of with all of this, maybe a general theme is paying attention to the details and having a plan. But I like to use warm water, clean out all of my equipment, whether that's my dewormer drench gun, all of it, and then store it somewhere, let it dry, that's not dusty. Right? I don't think it needs to be in the tack room collecting dust with everything else. I really like to use either Ziploc bags or like a plastic tote and put my products in there so that next time I know I get them out, they've been dried and they're also dust particle free. So some just little things like that to think through. And it also will help you when you go to plan for the next time and you're not scrounging around trying to find where you put XYZ piece of equipment or cleaning.
Yep, I've actually seen, that old fridge that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. Just unplug it and use it for the equipment.
That was the storage store.
Yeah, as a storage spot for your Ziploc bags and things like that, and put a nice new fridge down there to make sure that you have your vaccines and your dewormers and your products, implants, all at a nice cool temperature.
And that goes to say too, if we're planning ahead before we get into our processing day, we can check all of those O-rings, our different springs, whatever it might be, lubricate when we can, and change those out so that we have equipment that allows us to best give the vaccines and animal health products chute side. Certainly there's nothing more frustrating than getting rolling and something breaking. So certainly whether you're working with your local veterinarian, ask them, hey, is there a newer model, piece of equipment, something that can help me? Because it makes it a lot easier if you have equipment that's working well, and it makes your job easier that day.
And when you're talking about implants and you're talking about drench guns and you're talking about syringes and all these things, there are some of these types of things that are available through your veterinarian, your distributor, or through the company itself of the products that you're using, because it's important to everybody along the chain that this is done correctly.
Right, and have the appropriate dosage. So yes, when in doubt, ask for a gun specific to maybe the product you're giving.
Perfect. So, in the end, this is supposed to be a good welcoming experience for these animals, right?
Oh, without a doubt. I certainly want to make sure we do the right thing for the animal, but it should be a good experience for you, right?
Yeah.
We want this to be an easy process, and for your family or your employees, whoever you recruit that day, to come out and help. So keep that in mind. I do think it can be, with the proper planning and attention to detail, both the best thing for the animal and also a good experience all around.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show,
Yeah,
taking
you're
time.
very welcome.
Dr. Deana Hardee, West Texas veterinarian, tech services veterinarian for Merck Animal Health. Thanks for watching DocTalk today. And remember, if you want to find us, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. And with Dr. Deana Hardee, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of all-flex livestock intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.